Talk Ava. Learn English with confidence.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're talking about two English words that many learners think mean the same thing, price and cost. They're closely related, but native speakers don't use them in the same way. Once you understand the difference, your English will sound much more natural in everyday conversations.
This is one of those topics that seems easy at first. You see both words in shops, advertisements, and online stores, so it's natural to think you can use them interchangeably. But when native speakers are talking, they usually choose one over the other depending on the situation.
That's what we're going to explore today. Instead of learning complicated rules, we'll use real conversations that you might hear while shopping, traveling, eating at restaurants, or talking with friends.
By the end of this episode, you'll know which word sounds natural and why.
Let's begin with a simple situation.
Imagine you're walking through a supermarket.
You pick up a box of cereal.
Before putting it into your cart, you look at the label.
You ask your friend, "What's the price of this cereal?"
That's a very natural question.
Here, price means the amount of money the seller is asking for the product.
It's the number you see on the shelf, or the price tag.
Now imagine you've already decided to buy it.
You arrive at the checkout counter.
The cashier scans the cereal.
Your friend asks, "How much did it cost?"
That's different.
Now you're talking about the money you actually paid.
That's the biggest difference.
Price is the amount something is offered for.
Cost is the amount you pay or the amount something requires.
Let's compare them.
The price of the jacket is $80.
The jacket cost me $80.
Same jacket.
Different point of view.
Here's another example.
You're looking at a new bicycle in a sports store.
The tag says $500.
That's the price.
After buying it, you tell your family, "The bike cost me $500.
Notice how naturally native speakers switch between the two words.
One belongs to the store.
The other belongs to the buyer.
Let's imagine another everyday situation.
You're shopping online for a pair of running shoes.
You compare several websites.
One website has a lower price than the others.
After placing your order, your friend asks, "How much did they cost?"
You answer, "They cost $90.
That's another natural conversation.
Here's something learners sometimes say.
Go ahead.
They ask, "What's the cost of this shirt?"
That's not wrong.
Not at all.
But in everyday shopping conversations, native speakers usually ask, "What's the price of this shirt?"
You'll hear price much more often when talking about something that's for sale.
Here's another situation.
You're eating at a restaurant.
Before ordering, you look at the menu.
Every meal has a price beside it.
After dinner, your friend asks, "How much did everything cost?"
That's a sentence you'll hear all the time.
The menu shows the price.
The bill tells you what the meal cost.
Same dinner.
Two different viewpoints.
Here's another example.
You're planning a vacation.
You look at airline tickets online.
One flight has a much lower price than another.
After booking it, someone asks how much your ticket cost.
You answer with the amount you paid.
That's how native speakers naturally separate these two ideas.
Once you think about who's speaking, the seller or the buyer, the difference becomes much easier.
Before we continue, we have a question for everyone listening today. Which sentence sounds more natural to you? What's the price of this? Or how much did it cost? Write your own example using either price or cost in the comments. We'd love to read your answers.
Your examples always help other learners because everyone comes up with different real-life situations. Reading those sentences is a great way to remember new vocabulary.
If today's conversation is helping you speak more naturally, don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another English learner.
Thanks for joining us today.
Let's look at a few everyday situations where native speakers naturally choose between price and cost. The more examples you hear, the easier it becomes to know which word sounds right.
That's true because these words appear in shopping, traveling, eating out, and even planning your monthly budget.
Imagine you're walking through a furniture store.
You find a comfortable chair that you really like.
The first thing you do is check the price tag.
You ask, "What's the price of this chair?"
The salesperson tells you it's $150.
A week later, your friend visits your house and notices the new chair.
They ask, how much did it cost?
You reply, it cost me $150.
That's a conversation you'll hear all the time.
The store has a price.
The customer pays the cost.
Here's another situation.
You're buying a birthday gift for your brother.
You see a nice watch in a jewelry store.
Before deciding, you look at the price.
After buying it, your sister asks, did it cost a lot?
You answer, it wasn't too expensive.
Notice something interesting.
Go ahead.
I've noticed that native speakers don't always repeat the word cost in their answers.
That's true.
If someone asks, how much did it cost? You might simply answer, about $70.
Or, it was around $70.
The meaning is already clear.
Let's imagine another everyday conversation.
You're shopping for groceries.
You notice that eggs seem more expensive than usual.
You say, the price of eggs has gone up.
That's a sentence native speakers use very often.
You're talking about the amount stores are charging.
Later, you arrive home.
Someone asks, how much did your groceries cost today?
You answer, they cost about $60.
Same shopping trip?
Different point of view.
Here's another example.
You're planning a weekend trip with friends.
Everyone is looking at hotel websites.
One hotel has a lower price than the others.
Someone says, the price looks pretty good.
After booking the rooms, another friend asks, how much did they cost altogether?
Now you're talking about the money you actually paid.
That's why both words appear naturally in travel conversations.
Here's something learners sometimes ask me.
What's that?
They ask if price and cost can ever appear in the same sentence.
They certainly can.
Imagine you're talking about a new smartphone.
You could say, the price was higher than I expected, but it ended up costing less because it was on sale.
That's a perfectly natural sentence.
The advertised price changed because of the discount.
The final cost was lower.
Let's think about eating at a restaurant again.
Before ordering, you read the menu.
Every dish has a price.
After paying the bill, your friend asks, how much did lunch cost?
Those are the kinds of conversations native speakers have every day.
Once you connect price with the seller and cost with the buyer, choosing the right word becomes much easier.
And after hearing enough real conversations, you won't have to stop and think about which one to use.
You'll simply choose the one that fits the situation naturally.
There's another reason learners sometimes confuse price and cost. Native speakers don't always use these words when they're talking about money. Sometimes cost has a much broader meaning.
That's a good point. Most people first learn cost while shopping, but later they discover it can describe much more than paying for something.
Let's begin with another shopping situation.
Imagine you're looking for a new backpack before starting college.
You visit several stores.
One backpack catches your attention because it looks strong and comfortable.
You ask the salesperson, what's the price of this backpack?
The salesperson tells you it's $65.
A few days later, your cousin sees your new backpack.
They ask, how much did it cost?
You reply, it cost $65.
That's another natural conversation.
Now let's move away from shopping.
Imagine you've been working on an important project for several weeks.
You've spent many evenings at your desk.
A friend says, that project must have cost you a lot of time.
That's a sentence native speakers use quite often.
Nobody is talking about money.
They're talking about time.
That's one reason cost is such a useful word. It isn't limited to dollars or pounds.
It can also describe time, energy, or effort. Here's another example.
You're training for a marathon.
You wake up early every morning to practice.
One friend says, preparing for a marathon really costs a lot of energy.
That sounds completely natural.
Once again, nobody is talking about paying money.
They're talking about the effort required.
Let's imagine another everyday situation.
You're learning to cook.
Your first few recipes don't turn out the way you hoped.
You keep practicing anyway.
A family member says, learning a new skill always costs a little patience.
That's another natural way to use cost. Here's something learners don't always notice.
Go ahead.
The word price almost always connects to buying or selling.
That's true.
You can talk about the price of a phone,
The price of a ticket.
the price of a hotel room.
the price of fresh vegetables.
But when people start talking about time, effort, or energy, cost is usually the better choice.
Let's compare two short conversations.
A customer asks, "What's the price of this laptop?"
The salesperson answers with the amount on the price tag.
Later, the customer's friend asks, "Did it cost more than your old one?"
Those two questions sound completely natural together.
Here's another situation. You're planning a family vacation.
Everyone is comparing different hotels.
One hotel has a lower price than the others.
Your brother says, the price looks reasonable.
After the vacation, someone asks how much the whole trip cost.
Now you're talking about the total amount your family spent. That includes the hotel, transportation, food, and everything else.
Here's another useful pattern. Native speakers often ask, "How much does it cost?"
That's probably one of the most common shopping questions in English.
You might ask it in a bookstore,
At a bakery,
at a clothing store.
or at a market while traveling.
The person working there might answer by telling you the price.
Even though one person asks about the cost and the other talks about the price, the conversation still sounds completely natural.
That's because native speakers don't think about grammar rules while speaking. They simply choose the word that fits their point of view.
And that's the habit we're trying to build throughout today's conversation. Once you begin thinking about who is selling and who is paying, the difference between price and cost becomes much easier to understand.
Let's look at some expressions and conversations where native speakers naturally use price and cost. These are the kinds of situations you'll hear while shopping, planning trips, or simply talking about everyday life.
I like this part because you'll notice that native speakers don't think about these words. They simply choose the one that fits the situation.
Imagine you're walking through a weekend street market.
You stop at a stand selling handmade candles.
One candle catches your eye.
You ask the seller, "What's the price of this candle?"
The seller tells you it's $15.
You decide to buy two.
Later, your friend asks, how much did they cost?
You reply, "They cost $30."
That's a conversation you'll hear in markets all over the world.
Here's another situation.
You're looking for a birthday cake at a bakery.
There are several different sizes.
You look at the price labels before choosing one.
After the party, your cousin asks, "How much did the cake cost?"
You answer, it cost $45.
Once again, the bakery shows the price.
The customer talks about the cost.
Let's imagine another conversation.
Two friends are planning a camping trip.
One says, "I found a great tent online."
The other asks, what's the price?
The first friend replies, "It's $120."
A few days later, the tent arrives.
Another friend asks, "Did it cost as much as you expected?"
That's another natural use of cost.
Here's something interesting.
Go ahead.
Native speakers often use cost when they're talking about whether something is worth buying.
That's true. Imagine someone buys a high-quality winter coat.
A friend asks, "Did it cost a lot?"
The answer might be, yes, but I think it was worth it.
That's a very common conversation.
Now let's think about traveling.
You're planning a weekend in another city.
You compare several train tickets.
One ticket has a much lower price because you're booking early.
You decide to buy it.
After your trip, someone asks, "How much did the tickets cost altogether?"
You tell them the total amount you paid.
Here's another everyday example.
You're shopping for a birthday present.
You find a nice watch.
Before buying it, you check the price tag.
At the birthday party, another guest asks where you found it.
Then they ask, did it cost more than you expected?
That's another question native speakers ask naturally.
Let's move away from shopping for a moment.
Good idea.
Imagine you're learning to play the guitar.
You practice every evening after work.
Your friend says, learning an instrument really costs a lot of patience.
Nobody is talking about money.
They're talking about the time and effort needed to improve.
Here's another example.
You're planting a vegetable garden for the first time.
You spend several weekends preparing the soil and planting seeds.
Your neighbor says, a beautiful garden costs time, but the results are worth it.
That's another very natural sentence.
Here's a simple question that helps many learners.
I think this one is useful.
If you're looking at a label in a store, think price.
If you're talking about what someone paid or what something required, think cost.
That small habit makes choosing the right word much easier.
And after hearing enough conversations, you'll stop translating these words and begin using them naturally.
That's one of the best signs that your English is becoming more fluent.
Let's look at a few situations where native speakers naturally choose between price and cost without stopping to think about it.
These examples will help you hear the difference in real conversations.
That's one of the best ways to learn because these are the kinds of conversations you'll probably have while shopping, traveling, or planning something with friends.
Imagine you're visiting a local electronics store.
You're looking for a pair of wireless headphones.
You compare several different brands.
One model catches your attention.
You ask the salesperson, "What's the price of these headphones?"
The salesperson tells you they're $110.
You decide to think about it for a day before buying them.
The next afternoon, you return to the store and make the purchase.
Later, your brother notices the new headphones.
He asks, how much did they cost?
You answer, "They cost $110.
That's a very natural conversation.
Here's another situation.
You're planning to repaint your living room.
You visit a home improvement store.
You compare different colors and brands of paint.
Before making your decision, you look at the price on each can.
After finishing the project, a neighbor visits your house.
They admire the new color and ask, "Did it cost much to repaint the room?"
They're asking about the total amount you spent.
Not just the paint.
They might also be thinking about brushes, rollers, and other supplies.
Here's another everyday conversation.
Two friends are planning to join a fitness club.
One friend says, "The monthly price looks reasonable."
The other replies, I agree, it doesn't cost as much as I expected.
Notice that both words appear naturally in the same discussion.
One talks about the membership fee.
The other talks about the amount someone pays.
Let's think about traveling again.
You're looking at train tickets for a weekend trip.
You notice that tickets for Friday evening have a higher price.
So you decide to leave on Saturday morning instead.
After booking the tickets, your friend asks, "How much did the trip cost altogether?"
Now you're thinking about tickets, meals, transportation, and maybe even a hotel.
That's why cost often refers to the total amount spent.
Here's something learners sometimes don't notice.
Go ahead.
Native speakers often say, "It costs too much."
That's a very common expression.
Imagine you're looking at a new smartphone.
You like everything about it.
Then you see the price tag.
You smile and say, "It costs too much."
You're talking about what you would have to pay.
Here's another expression you'll hear often.
The price has gone up.
Imagine you buy coffee from the same cafe every week.
One morning you notice it's more expensive.
You might say, "The price has gone up again."
That's a sentence native speakers use when talking about products and services becoming more expensive.
Let's compare two quick examples.
The price of gas has increased.
Filling my car costs more than it did last month.
Same topic.
Different point of view.
One focuses on the advertised amount.
The other focuses on the money someone actually spends.
Here's another real-life situation.
You're planning a birthday celebration.
You call a restaurant to reserve a table.
Before confirming, you ask about the price of the dinner menu.
After the celebration, one of your friends asks, "How much did the whole evening cost?"
That's another conversation you'll hear naturally among native speakers.
The more you connect price with what's offered and cost with what's paid or required, the easier these words become.
And after enough practice, you'll choose the correct word without thinking about grammar at all.
Let's put everything together with a few longer conversations. These examples sound very close to the way native speakers actually speak, and you'll notice that price and cost appear naturally throughout the discussion.
That's one of the best ways to learn because you're hearing the vocabulary in context instead of memorizing separate definitions.
Imagine two friends are planning to buy new laptops.
One friend says, "I found a model that looks perfect for work."
The other asks, "What's the price?"
It's about $900.
That's not too bad.
A week later, they meet again.
One friend walks in carrying a new laptop.
One friend smiles and asks, "So, did you end up buying it?"
Yes.
How much did it cost in the end?
It actually cost a little less because the store was having a weekend sale.
That's a conversation you'll hear all the time.
The first question is about the advertised amount.
The second question is about the amount the buyer actually paid.
Let's imagine another situation.
A family is planning a summer vacation.
Everyone is looking at different hotels online.
One family member says, "I like this hotel."
Another asks, "What's the price per night?"
They compare a few more options before making a decision.
After returning from the trip, a neighbor asks, "How much did your vacation cost?"
They're not only asking about the hotel, they're probably thinking about transportation, meals, tickets, and everything else.
That's why cost often refers to the total amount spent.
Here's another conversation.
Two coworkers are eating lunch together.
One of them has a brand new coffee machine at home.
The other asks, "I've been thinking about buying one. What's the price of yours?"
The regular price was $180.
Then they add, "But it only cost me $140 because I used a discount coupon."
That's a perfect example.
Same product.
Two different viewpoints.
Let's move to another everyday situation.
You're shopping for a bicycle.
You visit 3 different stores before making a decision.
In the first store, the price is too high.
In the second store, the bicycle isn't the right size.
In the third store, everything feels right.
A few days later, your friend notices your new bicycle.
They ask, "Did it cost what you expected?"
You answer, "It was actually a little cheaper than I thought."
That's another conversation that sounds completely natural. Here's something interesting.
Go ahead.
Native speakers often use cost when they're deciding if something is worth buying.
That's true.
Someone might say, "It costs more, but the quality is much better."
Or, "It didn't cost much, but it works really well."
Those are very common expressions.
Here's another real-life example.
Two friends are decorating their apartments.
One buys a new lamp.
The other asks, "What was the price?"
It was $60.
A few minutes later, they start talking about decorating the whole room. One friend says, "Everything cost more than I expected." That's because they're talking about all the furniture and decorations together, not just one item. I think that's one reason these words become easier over time. Why do you think so? Because after hearing enough conversations, you stop thinking about grammar and start thinking about perspective. Is someone talking about what's being sold? Then price often sounds natural. Is someone talking about what they paid or what something required? Then cost is usually the better choice. That simple question helps in almost every everyday conversation. And after enough listening practice, your brain starts making that choice automatically. We've reached the final part of today's conversation, so let's review everything with one simple idea. If you remembered this idea, you'll know when to use price and when to use cost in almost every everyday situation. That's a great goal because these words appear everywhere. You see them while shopping, booking a hotel, buying tickets, ordering food, or even talking about your monthly budget. Let's start with one simple question. Are you talking about the amount a seller is asking for something? If the answer is yes, price is usually the correct word. Think about price tags, menus, online stores, and advertisements. Those places usually show the price. Now ask yourself another question. Are you talking about the money someone paid, or the time, effort, or energy something required? If that's your focus, cost is usually the better choice. Let's practice with a few final situations. Imagine you're buying a new suitcase before an international trip. You visit a luggage store and compare several different sizes. One suitcase looks perfect. You ask, "What's the price of this one?" The salesperson gives you the amount. A few days later, your friend notices your new suitcase. They ask, "How much did it cost?" You answer with the amount you paid. That's a conversation you'll hear very often. Here's another example. Imagine you're ordering lunch at a small cafe. Before ordering, you read the menu. Every sandwich has a price beside it. After lunch, your coworker asks, "How much did everything cost?" You're talking about the final bill. Same meal, different point of view. Let's think about something that isn't related to shopping. Imagine you've been studying English every evening for several months. A friend notices how much you've improved. They ask how you became more confident. You smile and say, "It cost a lot of time and practice." That's a very natural sentence. Nobody is talking about money. They're talking about effort. Here's another situation. You're training for your first half marathon. Some mornings, you wake up before sunrise to go running. A friend says, preparing for a race really costs a lot of dedication. That's another example of cost describing something other than money. Here's one final comparison. The price of the concert ticket was $80. The concert cost me more than I expected because I also paid for parking and dinner. The first sentence focuses on the ticket itself. The second sentence focuses on the whole experience. That's a difference native speakers make naturally. Before we finish, here's a memory trick that many learners find helpful. Imagine you're standing inside a store. If you're looking at the tag attached to the product, think price. Now imagine you're leaving the store after paying. Think about your wallet. That's cost. One shows the amount being offered. The other describes what you actually paid or what something required. That simple picture is easy to remember. And after hearing enough real conversations, you'll stop translating these words in your head and start choosing the right one naturally. Don't worry if you make a mistake from time to time. Every English learner improves by hearing the same patterns in different situations. Keep listening to real conversations, notice how native speakers use these words, and try using them in your own daily English. Thanks for spending your time with us today. We hope this conversation has helped you feel much more confident using price and cost in everyday English. Keep improving with our English podcast for learning, real-life English conversation, English shadowing practice, English podcast for easy English conversation, English vocabulary and expressions, and daily routine conversations B1 to B2. Keep practicing every day. Learn more, speak better, and we'll see you in the next conversation.